Hey guys, it's Jason with the Board Game Mechanics, and today we're going to take a look at a game called Trismegistus, the ultimate formula. Trismegistus is a 1 to 4 player game where players are taking on the role of a famous scientist from history. So you may have Isaac Newton, you may have Claude Duval. There are 3 other ones that are listed in the rulebook. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to acquire raw materials such as tin, copper, mercury, all that type of stuff. And you're trying to transmute them from not so great goods to better goods. And you're trying to do this to fulfill some experiments that you're trying to create. You're trying to make yourself good in these different types of essences. So because you want to be maybe the best person who is good at doing things with sulfur or ether and that type of thing. And all the while doing that, you're also trying to do some work on the Philosopher's Stone in your laboratory. I don't know if that was a great overview, but let's go down to the table and see how all that I just talked about plays out. Okay, so here is a game of Trismegistus, the ultimate formula, set up for 2 players. I'm going to try to go through setup pretty quickly, and then I'm just going to get down to playing. I'm going to try to play around. It's kind of thinky, so I may not get that far, but I at least want to show you some of the actions. So to set up, you're going to give each player their own personal player board. So there's Sir Isaac Newton, and I think this guy is, I'm not sure, I'm not even going to say, but they're each different scientists from the period. They're each going to have their own little formula markers, which are going to look like this. They're going to have a special power when you unlock it, and you're going to get a special starting experiment, which will look something like this. It's going to have a color. It's going to have some requirements up at the top. It's going to have some points at the bottom and some other rewards. It's going to have, if you start right there, each person's going to start with a raw material of lead, red, I can't remember, blue, I know this is mercury, and this is copper. So you're going to start with raw materials. I'm not ever going to say the name of them. They're in the rule book. Let me see if I can actually tell you what they are. So yes, we have copper, or lead. We have copper. We have tin. We have mercury. And we have iron. So those, everybody's going to start with one of those. We're each going to start with 1 essence tile, which looks like this. So that's the essence for wind on this track. We're going to have 2 recharge tokens, which look something like this. And we're going to have a starting goal card, which will look like this. It's going to have some requirements you got to meet at the top, and it's going to have some points that you get at the bottom. And we're each going to have a starting masterpiece, which is an experiment that's really hard to complete. It's going to have a bunch of requirements up in the top that you're going to need. And yeah. All right, that's all the setup. We're also going to get 1 starting artifact tile. They're going to look like that. They're going to have a type up the top. They're going to give you a bonus, and they're going to go somewhere on your board, and I think I had this one right there. All right, we're going to put the level 1 artifacts out down here. We're going to put each marker on a track. You're going to put some random bonus tiles out. In a 2-player game, I'm not sure exactly how many experiments you're supposed to put out because you have to remove the 3 and 4 players. So I'm putting 1 out at each book. I don't know if that's right. I couldn't get clarification from anybody, so I'm just going to assume that's right. And if you're on the level, so we're on round 1. So if we have level 1 experiments, when we take 1, we're going to refill it. After that, if we take a level 1, it won't be there. We'll put out the parchments. I can't remember what the names of those are. Publication cards. So we'll put the publication cards over there because you can get more throughout the game. We're going to roll all of the dice, put them in the appropriate bowls. So if you look at the dice, they have awesome little sides on them. They look something like this. You're going to put them in the bowls based on the symbols that you roll. No bowl can have more than 5. If you have more than 5, you have to re-roll. And in the middle will be the wild that I'll explain a little bit later. All right, so that's all the setup. Let's go ahead and jump into it, and hopefully I can explain this and not look like a fool. Also, because this player is a start player, this player is going to get an ethereal die token, which looks like this, and I'll explain that in a little more detail later. All right, so let's get rolling here. So it's this player's turn. So on your turn, The first thing you have to do if you don't have any dice on your board is draft a die. So this is essentially a dice placement game that you're going to use these symbols to do tons and tons of other things. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draft a die. When I draft that die, I'll explain a little bit about the die. Let's see here. I'm going to draft a white die from here. All right, so the dice are used in 3 different ways. They're used for the symbol, the color, and the number. So I drafted from a bowl that has 5, so I will put it on the 5 on my board. That's going to give me 5 actions to take with that die. There's going to be 6 different things I can do with those actions, and each thing has a different action value. So what I want to do, first and foremost, is I want to transmute. So what transmuting means is I'm going to move around the appropriate color on the board. So if you look at this, it's white. So when I transmute with a white die, I can move anywhere on the white track, but I have to spend an essence. So I'll go ahead and show you that now. So I'm going to use 1, I'm going to transmute 1. And I want to transmute this mercury over here into the tin. I believe it's tin. Nope, iron. And then, because whenever you transmute, you have to spend an essence. So I'm going to go ahead and spend this triangle essence, wind, which is actually sulfur. So I'll spend sulfur. That's going to move me up on the wind track right here. So I'm gray. I move up 1 on the wind track. And the reason I want to use that essence is because I need to get, in order to complete this, I have to have my disc at level 2 of the wind track. So until I get on level 2, I can't complete that. There's another way, but if that comes up, I'll explain it. So I'm on my way. So that's the first thing I can do. You take 1 action on your turn. If you don't have a die, you draft a die, then you take 1 action. Then you have some free actions you can do. You can buy one of your formulas. You can pay 1 gold to get your first one. You can only buy 1 from each of the 4 colors. The second one you buy costs 2, third one costs 3, fourth one costs 4. So I could buy one if I had some gold. I do not have gold. If I had one down in my laboratory, working on the Philosopher's Stone, I could flip one to get the benefit. Or I can complete an experiment. I can't do any of those things, so I'm not going to do anything else. Now, before this player takes their turn, they have an option to flip one of their lightning bolts to take a weaker version of the action that I did. So let's see here. So they could go here and they could get some tin. They could take the essence of sulfur, because that's what this die lets you draft a material of tin, or take a sulfur essence, or they could transmute 1 on white, or they could flip their artifact if they use the artifact. Oh, speaking of that, on my turn, I transmuted here, so I crossed over my artifact, which is right here. So I'll get the benefit that's on it. So if you can look at the bottom, I get 2 of those raw materials. They'll go on my board. So I'm actually going to take, I'll take a lead, and I'll take 10. Then when you cross over an artifact, it flips. So I can't use it until I reactivate it or at the end of the round. Now this player, they're going to go ahead and use the lightning bolt. So they're going to be able to take a tin, a sulfur. They can flip one of their artifacts if they have one to flip, or they can transmute. So what they want to do is they're going to transmute. They need to get over into this square, so they're going to transmute, because I have a white die. Oh no, they can't. Dang it. Yeah, they can. So I have a white die. So they flip theirs. They're going to move this one over to there. They're going to cash in 1. They need to be up on water. So water is Aether. So they're going to discard Aether, which looks like a little wheel. So I'll probably call it wheel from now on. So they'll discard the wheel. They'll move up 1 on Aether. Now they are 1/2 of the way to theirs, because they need to have 2 on the wind track, 1 lead, and 1 refined iron. So the squares are refined, the circles are raw. This is silver and this is gold. All right, so they're done following. Now it's officially their turn. So they don't have a die, so they have to draft a die. So they are going to, so they need some lead, they need iron, they need to get up on wind, on water more, so let's do that. All right, I want to show you something else. So they're going to take this black die right here, the black iron die. So this is the black iron die. They're going to put it on their die. It's a value 4 because there are 4 in the bowl, but they have the ethereal die token, which is going to let them add 1 to the drafting power. So we'll discard that, and they're going to now make this a 5. So they have a level 5 of that. Now they get to take some actions. So they want to move up more on the water track, which is Aether. So when they take a die from here, they can take either an essence of lead, or no, iron. They can take any essence that they want. So mercury counts as a raw material and an essence. Or they can take an experiment from that color for one potency. They can take an artifact for 3, and they can transmute for however many value that they want. So what I'm going to do is, well, what this player's going to do is they want to take an artifact actually. So they're going to spend 3. So 1, 2, 3. So they took a black die. So they have to take from the one of the 2 black spaces here, and they're going to take this one because they know that they're going to roll with water. So they're taking this one. Whenever they cross over this, they're going to get a mercury and move up 1 on any track, and they're going to put that bad boy right there. All right, and when you get it, you also get the bonus. So they're going to get 1 mercury now, 1 raw mercury. Move up on 1 track. So they're going to go ahead and move up on the water so they can complete that, which they're going to do as their free action. So as their free action, they are going to complete this. They have 1 lead, 1 iron, 1 refined iron. They need to be 2 on water. They're 2 on water. So they discard these. They're going to get a bump up 1 on the water track, and then 1 on any other track. So let's do what kind of other things do they want to do. Let's look at their goal card here. They need some wind, so they'll bump up 1 on wind. All right. Then you're going to take this card, you're going to slide it under the appropriate color. And whenever you complete an experiment of that color, you can unlock 1 of these formulas for free. So they're actually going to take this one. No. They're going to take this one. It's going to give them 2 ethereal dice whenever they activate it, and they're going to put it on their board. So they're going to go ahead and put it there. Whenever you complete a row or a column, you're going to get some bonuses. I'll go into that when that happens. And they're going to go ahead and use it now because that's another free action they can take. And they'll take 2 ethereal dice because it's always good to have ethereal dice. All right. And now I can follow that if I want to. And I don't think I want to at this point because I don't need anything to transmute through black. I don't really need any lead or copper. Yeah, so I'm not going to do that right now. All right, next thing I want to do is I'm going to take a publication or an experiment. So I'm in this bowl, so I can take this experiment for 1. So I need refined green and refined blue, and I have to be at 2 on the water track. So you can only ever have 2 open experiments, not counting your masterpiece. So this is in your hand, so this one doesn't count. I took that because we're on level 1. We'll refill it, so we get another one. And now that was my turn. I didn't pay for it, but I'll pay for it. And now I'm going to complete this one. Nope, can't complete that yet. Just kidding. So I'm going to do nothing for now, and they're not going to follow, so they're going to take their turn. So they have 2 potency left on their black die, so they're going to go ahead and use 2 of it. And they're going to take 2 materials, 2 raw materials down in here. So 2 raw materials will come down in iron. And then when your die is spent, it goes over here in the first green spot to let you know that your first round, your first turn, your first die of this round is completed. I'm still not going to follow, so I'm going to go ahead and keep moving. I'm going to do some transmuting. Nope. What do I need? I need wind. I'm actually going to take 1 action, and I'm going to take a wind essence, put it on my board. That's one of the actions you can do. And then I'm going to... I can't do anything because I don't have anything to do yet. So, done. I'm done. So back to this player. They have to draft another die because their dice is empty. So they're actually going to take this red 2. Well, the red copper. So they're going to take the red copper. It's a 4. They have piles of ethereal dice, so they're going to go ahead and use another one. So that's going to make it a 5. And they're going to transmute something across red. So they're going to do 2 transmute on red. They're going to do these 2 to silver. and I'll do that in a second. And I'm going to spend my fire and my sulfur. So 1, and then fire is up. All right, and then I have 2 silver now, and I crossed over this artifact. So I get 1 mercury raw material, and I get to move up 1 on the track, and this flips. So they're going to move up 1 on the water track. They hit a bonus marker. They're going to get another ethereal token. Should another player get up there and get it, they would also get it this turn, but that's not going to happen. So this is out of the game. So they get another ethereal marker. And they have no experiments to complete. They can't buy anything, they don't have gold. So they are done. And I'm actually going to follow that. So I'm going to flip my lightning bolt. I'm going to follow the red. So what I want to do is I want to transmute down into here, make some raw copper, and I'm going to spend my triangle essence, move up here, and then I am done. So now it's officially my turn. So I have 2 essence or 2 potency on my die. It's white. Let's see here. I'm gonna take, I can't take an experiment yet, but I can complete 1. So you can do your free actions before or after. So I'm gonna go ahead and complete. Dang it. Just kidding, just kidding. So I can't do that yet, so just disregard that. So I'm gonna go ahead and take, oh, they should have been refilled. What else can I take here? I'm gonna spend a potency and I'm gonna flip my artifact back over. And that's my turn. I can't complete any of these because I'm missing some goodies. So I'm done. They're not gonna follow. They have 3 left. They're actually going to use 1, and they're gonna take this. So they need these goods, and they need to be up on 3 on fire to complete this bad boy. So they now have something to work forward to. They don't have any gold, so they're done. I'm not gonna follow. It's a red die. Yeah, I'll follow. I'm gonna follow it. I'm gonna transmute this over into silver, and I'll spend a fire essence. It's not really a fire essence, but it moves me up on the fire track. And then it's my turn. So I have 1 white. So I'm gonna go ahead and spend it. I'm now down to 0. And I'm gonna take, oh, gotta refill. And I'm gonna take another 10, because I have the 10 symbol, so I have another raw material of 10. All right, so done. They can follow if they want to, but they're not going to. They have 2 here. So they're gonna go ahead and transmute 1 red. Now watch, I don't have any essence, but I do have mercury. Since mercury doubles as an essence, I can discard that as an essence. It moves up 1 on the mercury track. And then I'm gonna transmute 1 silver into gold. So they're done. Now I'm gonna spend this gold, and I'm gonna unlock, this tile for 1 gold. And every time there's a space unlocked, it's gonna cost you 1 less item to fulfill your experiments. This is gonna come down here, I'm gonna do that. I'm not gonna use it yet, but I'm gonna get a lightning bolt and a lightning bolt. So I get 2 new lightning bolts coming in activated. All right, sweet. I can't follow, so that player's done. Then it's my turn. I have to take another die. I need black, so I'm gonna take this die. No, I don't want to take that. So I'm gonna take this black die. I'm gonna take the black iron die, and it's 3. So I'm gonna put it on 3. Then for my action, I'm gonna do a transmute. So I'm gonna transmute 1. I'm gonna bring it from here up to here. Discard the water essence. Well, moves me up on the water track, not the water essence. So I'm up here. Now, for my free action, I'm gonna complete this experiment. Yes. So I'm at 2 on wind. I have 10 and I have iron. I'm going to discard them both. And for completing this, I get to move up 1 on wind, and I get a chameleon token. So now I'm going to explain what a chameleon token does. And black represents yellow on your board. There isn't a yellow card, so black is yellow. So I can move up 1 on wind, 1 on chameleon. So a chameleon token is going to let you change the color and or symbol of your die for one action. So basically one turn. So say I use this, I can make this anything else for that action. Next time it comes back, if this dice on my board, it's back to this specific die. So that's how that works. And I'm gonna go ahead and take this and I'm going to use it to move up on 2 tracks. So I'll flip it. And let's go ahead and go up 1 here. So I'll take that. And then I'm gonna move up 1. I need water, so I'll move up 1 there. So this is gonna let me move up 1 on any other track. Let's see here. I'll go ahead and start moving up Mercury. All right. So that was a good turn for me. That was a good turn. And they're gonna go ahead and follow the black action. So they'll flip one of their lightning bolts. And they actually wanna take, they're gonna go ahead and take a raw material of that die. All right, so now it's their turn. They have 1 action left on their red. And they're gonna actually transmute. Do they need silver? They do not need silver, but they need some mercury. Can't get mercury. So they're gonna actually, yeah, they'll take an essence because they need some essences. So that's gonna empty that die and they have to take triangle essence. So they now have triangle essence. And they're not gonna use that because they wanna get maximum benefit, so they are done. I can't follow because I'm tapped out. I have 2 actions left. I need some mercury, so I'm gonna spend 2 potency, and I can take 2 mercury because this gives me a wild essence, so I can take any essence that I want. I'm gonna take 2 mercuries. That taps that out. Free actions, I don't have any gold, so I can't buy anything. Can't fulfill an experiment yet, so I am done. They're gonna go ahead and follow me as well. They'd like to get a mercury as well because they can take any essence that they want because this die is the wild symbol. All right, and now we are going to, it's going to be that player's turn. So they need this symbol, this, and this to complete their next thing. So they're going to take a white die because that's going to give them some goodies. So they're going to take this white die. Whoops, I flipped that one. Take this white die. It's a 3, but they're going to make it a 4 because they have ethereal dice. And then they're going to do some transmuting. They can do 1 transmute. They're going to send this one over to here, spend the triangle to move up 1 on wind, and now they're closer to completing that. And I can't follow, so I'm done. They're done. All right, I want to show you something else. So I'm going to go ahead and do this, even though it's not super smart. So I'm going to take this, infinity die. So when you take the infinity die, you're allowed to change it to any symbol that you want. It still has the color of the die, and it has the strength, the potency of the bowl. So this is a 2. I'm gonna make it a 2. It doesn't matter because I just want to use it for transmute, but I'll make it 2 of copper. So I'm gonna make it 2 copper. And then I'm gonna do some transmuting. So I want to transmute, I need blue, so I'm going to transmute this. I'm going to use a mercury to do that. So I'm going to move 1 on the mercury track. And that's all I can do. I still can't complete anything. I don't have any formulas to use, so I'm done. They're not going to follow. They're going to go ahead and for those last 3, they're going to take another artifact. So they have a white die, so they can take either of these. And they're going to go ahead and take this one, which is going to give them 2 of any essence when they put it on the board. And they're going to put it on their board right there. They get 2 essences. They're going to actually take 2 mercury, put it there, and then it's their turn. Nope, that was their turn. So they're all tapped out. So when you're tapped out, you have to pass. So you have to drop down and go farthest left you can. So they're going to be the new first player. I still have 1 action. I have a black here, so I'm going to go ahead and take that card. So I'm going to take this experiment. And now I'm tapped out. They can still follow, so they will. And they're going to go ahead and take one of those raw materials. Actually, they're going to take an essence. So they're going to take a wheel essence. All right. And that is the end of the round. So at the end of the round, you're going to do a couple things. You're going to get rid of all the level 1 artifacts. You're going to bring in the level 2 artifacts. So I'm going to go ahead and do that real quickly. So level 2 artifacts. Flip them. Then you're going to get rid, you're not going to get rid of level 1. The level 1 cards, they're going to stay out until the end of level 2. But you will get rid of the rest of these. So you bring in the level 2 cards. And then you're going to refill every space on the left. So in this case it will go here. Well, it will go here. 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 So you're going to have more experiments to work with during these higher rounds. You're going to take all the dice back. You're going to flip all your artifacts if you have any flipped. These all slide back up. Different turn order. We'll re-roll the dice. You resort them out in the bowl. I'm not going to do that because I'm going to wrap this up. And then you're going to keep going based on turn order. And you're going to keep playing that over 3 rounds. There's going to be some in-game scoring where you're going to score all your publications. You're going to score the points on your completed experiments. You're going to get a pile of points for however many formulas you can have in your laboratory. Gold is going to be worth a point. All of your ethereal die tokens are going to be worth a point. And that is going to, whoever has the most points is the winner. And if you get up to the top of these tracks, they're going to be worth some points too, kind of Zolkin-esque. So yeah, that's how you play Trismegistus. Let's go to the top. See what we think about it. Okay, so that was Trismegistus. I gotta say, I don't know where to start on this other than this game is a beast. So this is one of the designers who is from the Italian design collective that I enjoy. They've done Zolkin, Grand Austria Hotel, Newton, Council of Four, Marco Polo. I think I'm missing something. This one, Teotihuacan, Coimbra. They've done all those games. So these designers have a pretty good pedigree. So let me talk about this game on its own, and then I'm not going to really talk about the other games, but I'm just going to talk about some pros and some cons of what I like about Trismegistus. So let's go with some pros. So pros, this rulebook is pretty good. I mean, it has an issue with some of the 2-player setup, but outside of that, everything is laid out in there. It has a great appendix of symbols for all the symbols that you need in the game. It has setup rules. It has pictures of setup. It has player board setup. It has clarifications of all the rules. It has rule reminders after you've gone through all the sections of the rule book. They're just more back in the back, and it's super helpful to learn to play this game. I like the components. These dice are really pretty neat. So they have a bunch of the symbols in 3 different colors. I like the art on the cards for the experiments. It's functional, but it also looks kind of nice as well. These player boards are really cool. They're inset. Let me dump this out real fast. Player boards are really nice. So they have like some inset pieces. They have the different sciences over here. Everything else is the same, except the science is going to be different. They're going to have different formulas across the top. Yeah, it's just a quality production. These cardboard tiles for the artifacts are pretty nice, and I enjoy everything there. The gameplay is simple to learn, kind of, but it's going to have a ton of different decisions that you can make throughout the game. So essentially what you're going to do is you're going to draft a die. You're going to use that die to take other actions, but the decisions that come with being able to create those actions is incredible. So you may get caught up in some AP type stuff because you need to figure out which material you need, which essence you need. Do you need to get a new experiment? If you're trying to create your masterpiece, what do you need to do on your board? Should you spend gold to get your formula? Should you use your formula? Should you draft a die and then use your ethereal die so you can, make it stronger? Should you piggyback off your opponent? Just tons of stuff to think about, and it could get kind of an AP, but definitely heavy, and I love it. I'm going to move on to some cons because everything about this game is amazing, but I want to talk about a couple cons here. I don't think the board needs to be as big as it is. Really, the board is just holding some cards and some dice and a track, so this could have been a lot smaller than it is and take up a lot less space because this player board is huge. So when you have 4 of these around the table plus the board, it takes up a lot of table space, so not something that I love. I also don't love that the rule book doesn't clearly spell out the experiment setup for 2 players. It was a little tricky. I tried to contact the designer and the publisher and I didn't get any information on that, so that's something to think about. If you want to play this 2-player, you might have to just house rule how to do those experiments, unless I missed it, but I looked at the rule book at least 4 or 5 times to find it and I couldn't find it. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just give this game a BGM accepted seal. It's going to get a good, I think I rated this a 9, so I'm going to give this a 4.5 out of 5. And it's going to stay in my collection. I enjoy it. It is super fun. And I can't wait to play it some more. And that is Trismegistus from Board and Dice. And I'm Jason with the Board Game Mechanics. And as always, keep gaming.